them what that pattern is, you get a gift basket. Go to the Maxis booth and see if you can answer this one. All right, so they're off and rushing into the total corner. And rushing over to our side, we have Michelle. How are you doing, Michelle?
I am just great. Looking forward to yet another wonderful day of racing here at Dover Raceway. And as you can see on the track, the bikers are in all their glory. Dave Bell is leading the pack. He is positioning himself to be the Class B champion for Dover this year. Dave Bell, bike number 112, the Irie Racing biker. Just behind Dave, we have Xavi Osborne taking a nice inside line to put himself ahead of Kyle, Irie Racing Reynolds. And of course, you all know Kyle. He was the Rasta, but the Rasta decided to get a little bit lighter for this race meet. So he has taken off the locks. No more locks for the Rasta man. He says that will, CP, no joke, he says he's guaranteeing he'll be 2 seconds faster.
Because the locks flying in the wind might mess up the time. I like that.
Yeah, the locks slow him down. So like Samson and Delilah being the bike, of course, Kyle Reynolds took off his locks. Of course, in this race we are not seeing one of our favorites, Jason Ratty Campbell. Ratty has to sit out this race meet. Some mechanical problems, but no doubt you'll see him back here again. Holding his own in the front, Dennis Ching Kui. Dennis, of course, is the elder CP. He is the veteran. He is over 50 years old. Bike number 11 making his way through corner number 3. Dennis leading ahead of Kyle Reynolds, our only 2 Class A bikers for this race meet. Dennis is riding an old school bike. And when I say old school, he has the only bike that is carbureted. Everybody else gone modern day technology, fuel injected. But Dennis said he's an old school dude, so he wants to stick to an old school bike. So he's on his 2001 Yamaha, and he says it's very comfortable. And of course, he's sponsored by Universal Sales. I'd like to also thank Super Wi-Fi for always giving us bikers what we need to be here at the races. We also got Amsoil and Shango Racers. And of course, we have a special sponsor. They're called E-Gas Ambulance. And they have sponsored us here at Dover, the ambulance service for the bikers for the entire year. CP, we get 1 year of ambulance services courtesy of E-Gas Ambulance.
Hopefully we won't have to use them at all today.
Exactly. So we have our own doctors and our own ambulance. So thank you, E-Gas. Back to the race, you see Dennis Chinqui still ahead. Kyle Reynolds is chasing him. The 2 Class A boys. Of course, if Ratty was here, Ratty would be somewhere in that battle between Dennis and Kyle Reynolds. Dave Bell is all by himself ahead of the rest of the Class B riders. That is Dave, full black, full tilt. But here comes our new boys. They did excellent for this year. This pretty bike is Andre Rickards, the Shango racer, being chased by his teammate Xavier Osborne. Just behind them, Debo Hamilton holding his own. Norman Pancho Chung is on the Super Wi-Fi bike at the back. Not to worry, he's having a lot of mechanical issues. He had to sit out some of the race yesterday, but he's determined to stay amongst the pack any which way. Yesterday, chain drop off, CP, the chain. So the sprocket isn't feeling so right. The adjustment isn't correct for his chain right now, but he decided to make up numbers and just go out there and support the rest of the crew. They're about to come and catch him and tell him bye-bye. Look at Kyle Reynolds going into total number 1. If Dennis doesn't close that gap, Kyle will get it. Nope. Dennis closes up on Kyle, showing him that the old school boys know how this thing goes. Kyle will have to work hard to get around Dennis. What do you think, CP? Look at the veteran leading the youngster.
I tell you, experience says everything. But Kyle did really good in the last race. He came in second. He had a really great time. So, you know, I mean, old school, new school, I don't know. It's
good
kind of up in the air, but it's good fun for us as the spectators to get to see who is going to pull out the win today.
But look at the challenge between the Shango riders. Andre Ricketts still pulling out in front of Xavi Osborne. Debo Mackleton. Debo Hamilton. Full tilt around the ATL corner number 3.
Well, Xavier definitely has something to prove because with Debo, because Debo beat him in the last race. So
right,
you know what
I mean, Xavier is pretty new, and he had a spill a couple meets ago, so he's still trying to rebuild his confidence and get back familiar to the track. Because once you take a certain kind of spill, it does pick up the nerves a little bit. And I mean, them is man, and them don't want to tell us that them afraid, but they do build a little bit of fear. So Xavi is now trying to get over that fear, and he's looking mighty fine.
Yeah, man, he looks like he's completely settled on the track right now.
Right, as they go into the final lap, Kyle Irie Reynolds is still chasing Dennis Chinqui. He will only have a few more corners to try and execute the pass. He is right on Dennis's tail, but Dennis is no joke. Dennis is a mean fella. He is not leaving that door open for you. You're gonna have to kick that door down. Dennis is not gonna open any doors to let Kyle through. So Kyle has his work cut out for him. Here he comes, chasing him up on the outside, but he will not attempt to take it on the outside lane. Dennis once again closing that door. Final stretch for the Class A battle as Kyle comes up on the inside of the Jamaica Automobile corner number 7. But it's a no-go as Dennis makes his way towards the back stretch. Kyle will only have the chicane. Now Kyle has a fancy little move in the Carib Cement corner number 10. Here they come approaching the corner. Kyle is going to attempt to dart into the inside, but there goes Dennis closing that door. Kyle needs to remember he can do this with the rookies, but not a veteran like Dennis.
Oh no, he knows all the tricks.
He knows all the tricks, and he's gonna make sure you don't get by him. So a fantastic run for our Class A boys. Dennis Chinqui taking the win. Kyle will have
is out
for a second place. As we finish up Class B, it'll be Dave Bell all on his own as he makes his way through the checkered flags. Dave Bell, sponsored by Irie Racing. Definitely the Class B champion for this year. There's nobody that can catch him up in points because he has won every single race since he started at Dover this year.
Yeah, wasn't he the all-around champion? He got the all-around champion.
No, this is his first year of racing. So he will now be crowned the champion for Dover. So holding on to second place on the podium, we have Andre Ricketts, our Shango racer, and Xavier Osborne holds on to fourth as Debo Hamilton finishes up his final lap. We are looking for Super Wi-Fi sponsored Norman Chung, having difficulties but hanging in there. Fantastic race by our boys. We have some other bikers in the pits trying to get their machines ready. You know, who the chick V don't knock out.
Oh my goodness.
The rest of them, the bike them flop out. But you know, it's racing and we love it and we're passionate about the bikes, so they're gonna do anything. Big up the bikers, my Hillside posse. They're gonna do anything they can to come back. So we're looking for Romaldo Longmore and hopefully the man himself, Jason Ratty Campbell. Hopefully we'll see them a little later on if they get their mechanical issues sorted out.
Yeah, we have 2 more races left, so it should be really, really good. So fingers crossed that we'll have everybody out on the track.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to the ladies CP.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much. That was the Super
Thank you very much, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, come back here. I noticed you're not on the track. I mean, you know, you'd normally be out there with the bikers. What's going on?
I'm on an unofficial break right now. I have a little injury that I'm trying to take care of, so hopefully by next year I'll be back. You know, and we have Lisanne. Lisanne, of course, the Chick V hit her over, so she's not here today. So hopefully next year we'll have myself and Lisanne. And there's a female in Ratty's camp that we're hoping we can convert her. So hopefully by next year we'll have 3 girls on bikes here at Dover.
So clean, can she cut that must have been harassing me in the mind? This girl is fine, I done came to the club.
All right. Check. All right. The bikers are on the track. This is race number 3. Of course, we did a race yesterday, and the results were pretty much the same as they've been for the last 2 races. We have Dennis Chinqui leading for the Class A, and Kyle Reynolds just behind him with a time of 1:26, his personal best so far since his debut here at Dover Race Meet. Dave Bell, the reigning champion, nobody can catch him at this point. He has won every single one of his races here at Dover. He's maintaining first place position as they make their way around to the Carib Cement. Corner number 10, Andre Rickards and Xavier Osborne will have their work cut out for them if they intend to even stick behind Dave Bell. Making the way through Carib Cement, I see a runner on the grass. Maybe he thinks he's a lawnmower, I don't know, but he's made his way back onto the track. It is, of course, the Shango racer, Andre Rickards, that somehow must have found the oil that was spilled a little bit earlier on. He found the spot, but he made it back onto the track. He will now have to fight through the traffic to gain back his second place position behind Dave Bell. As they make their way through the ATL corner number 3, it is Kyle Reynolds leading the pack. Just behind him is Class B rider Dave Bell. Dennis Chinqui has a lot of catching up to do. He, of course, was showing the young boys in the previous race that he may be old school, but he says that old brooms sweep better. So therefore, he is intending on making a clean sweep today, but he will have a lot of catching up to do if he plans to do so and maintain the first place on the podium. But Kyle is looking good as they go into Jamaica Automobile Association corner number 7. As I said before, there was a major oil spill all along the backstretch leading through corners 8, 9, and 10, which is the Carib Cement corner. So they've got to maneuver their way around the oil spill, which now has cement, but it's still extremely slippery for the bikes. So they'll have to maintain as they make their way through that. It is still Kyle Reynolds from Irie Racing leading, making his way through the chicanes up the brow onto the front stretch. Dave Bell looking good just ahead of Dennis Chinqui. In the meantime, Andre Rickards is still leading the rest of the Class B boys. Xavier Osborne doing well as well. Debo Hamilton is holding his own. Andre, of course, showing the raw talent despite his slippage and him mowing the lawn. He is once again ahead of the pack. Xavier Osborne leading ahead of Debo. Longmore is trailing, and the Super Wi-Fi bike being ridden by Norman Chung is way at the back of the pack. He, of course, is still experiencing mechanical problems. So is Andre Rickards, the Shango racer. But they are determined to stay in the race meet. So Andre is working on 3 cylinders, but still proving that he is still quick. He's super light, can I tell you. So he has the ability to run on 3 cylinders like a pro. In the meantime, back to the top of the race, we have Dave Bell And Kyle Reynolds still chasing. Dennis Jinquie has made his way around Dave Bell, and he's now gunning for Kyle as they make their way to the top stretch. Here they come. Kyle has his hands up. I'm not sure why, but maybe he is telling them that there's some sort of debris or some oil on the track. Dennis doesn't seem to care. He is just trying to make up that room, reduce the gap between himself and Kyle, and he's going to try and do it here. Here he comes on the inside of the ATL corner. Dave is enjoying the chase. He likes to be just behind the Class A fellas. He will be joining them come next year because he's that fast. He's moving up a class. So Dave making his move, trying to stay as close to the Class A fellas as he can. Here comes Dennis on the inside, just like a pro, but Kyle takes it back. What a wonderful maneuver. Dennis trying his little tricks, but Kyle maintaining and saying, no, Dennis, you're not going to get it that easy. You're going to have to work harder than that if you want to take it from me. Andre Rickards on his Jigsaw Suzuki, and I must tell you, there's tons of Jigsaws. We've got one Honda being ridden by Dave Bell, a Yamaha by Norman Chung and Dennis Jinquie, and Kyle, of course, is on a R6. Everybody else prefers the speed of the Suzuki GSX-R 600s. They're dominating the pack, but as we make our way back through the chicane, it is still Kyle Reynolds just ahead of Dennis Jinquie. Dave Bell closing the gap between himself and the Class A boys, but still a mile, several miles away from his fellow Class B riders. And of course, that pack is being led by the Shango racer, Andre Rickards, as they make their way through the chicane to head up to the brow. Andre should still be ahead of Xavier, but look at Xavier gunning into Andre. He's going to attempt to stay on the inside and command that line. Will Andre let him around? No, he won't. A good try by Xavier Osborne, surely showing that he has recovered from his previous spills. With no fair in his gear, here they come through the ATL corner number 3, and Xavier taking a sweet line ahead of Andre. Andre must be scratching his head right now, wondering if he really saw Xavier take that line away from him. Here they come up into corner number 5. No, Xavier closes the door on him. Andre is determined to get around Xavier as they make their way through the Honda hairpin. Andre on the inside, Xavier backing off. I must tell you though, they are related, they're cousins. It's full rivalry, but friendship just the same. So Xavier backing off, letting Andre come around, but I'm sure he's gonna try and take it as they make their way to the backstretch into the final lap. We're trying to beat the rain here. The rain is coming, but the guys are still gunning. Kyle Reynolds still holding on to the lead into the total corner number 1. Dennis Jinquie is literally on his tail. Dave Bell holding on to first place so far for Class B as they come into ATL corner number 3. Kyle is keeping his lines nice and tight. Dennis just on the edge of Kyle's tire, having to run a little wide so that he doesn't touch him. It is scary, isn't it, CP? It is scary, but they are pros. They are pros. They know what lines they can take. They know how to change those lines. Dennis, of course, being the veteran, the one who has been on this track for the longest, from in the 1990s. So Dennis is the one who can pull out those little tricks. But an exciting race as they make their way to the backstretch. Kyle Irie Racing Reynolds is still pulling away from Dennis Jinquie. Dave Bell holding his own. But the real battle is between our Class B riders, 2nd and 3rd place. Andre Rickards and Xavier Osborne are battling. CP, can you imagine those two fellas have only just started riding here at Dover this year? We call it a natural born talent, and if you can hone that talent and master it, then you'll see some great racing here at Dover, and these new fellas are definitely showing us that they can do it. Checkered flag goes to Kyle Irie Racing Reynolds. Dennis Jinquie holding on to 2nd. 1st place for Class B, it is Dave Bell. We are looking for Andre and Xavier, the battle between the two Shango riders. Who will come on top as they make their way through the brow? We will see. Is it Andre? Is it Xavier? Here they come. Class B, we're still looking for second place. And it is Andre Rickards. Andre holding on to second. Xavier has to be content with third place. Debo Hamilton should be finishing up in fourth. I don't see Romaldo Longmore, so I suspect the difficulties that he had earlier have probably taken him out of the race. There is Debo Hamilton taking his checkered flag, and of course Norman Chung finishing up in fifth position. So another fantastic day of racing. This is race number 3. Hopefully if the weather holds, CP, we can see some more bikes for their final race. But in the meantime, I'm sure everybody will be entertained with the tremendous drivers' abilities that we're about to see out here. So I turn it over to you, CP.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Appreciate that very, very much. King, Paint Shop, Fidelity Motors, Epping Oil, Carib Cement, ATL Motor, Automotive, Bearings and Seals, and of course, Kia Motor.
Seriously?
All right, we're ready for the final race of the day, race number 4, and it is Green Flag Racing. At the front of the pack is the Super Wi-Fi bike being ridden by Norman Chung. Romaldo Longmore, bike number 80. He started in the front as well. Just behind them, Debo Hamilton, one of the Shango Racers sponsored bikers, is placed beside Zavi Osborne. But already we have our faster fellas. We have Dave Bell leading ahead of Kyle Reynolds, and they're being chased by Dennis Chinqui. And by the way, CP, the veteran Dennis Chinqui just told me this is his final race here at Dover. So I want you all to ensure that at the end of this race we give him a round of applause for so many years of excellent talent displayed here at Dover.
Did he say why he was going to go into retirement?
He literally said, boy, I'm just too old.
I don't believe a word he's saying right now.
But you know, when you get up there in age, CP, well, you know how it goes. Sometimes you have to, you know, let the young boys take over. So I mean, we'll still see Dennis Chinqui on the Universal Sales bike, but I doubt that he will be coming to as many races. He probably just races for pleasure. But in the meantime, coming up out of the chicane, Kyle Reynolds has made his way past Dave Bell. Dennis Chinqui is still chasing. I have Andre Rickards leading the pack through the chicane ahead of Xavier Osborne. Xavier trying to make his way onto that inside line as they make their way to total corner number 1. Andre with his clean lines is not going to have it. Xavi has managed to execute a beautiful pass against Andre in the previous race. Andre is not about to let that happen, so he will have to ensure that his lines are nice and tidy as he makes his way through Pincus Bluff. Here comes Xavier on his tail. Norman Canto Chung on the Super Wi-Fi Yamaha is doing well ahead of Debo Hamilton. My bad, that's Romaldo Longmore ahead of Debo Hamilton. Super Wi-Fi is content at the back of the pack. Meantime, through the Jamaica Automobile Association corner number 7, onto the backstretch we have Kyle Reynolds pulling away from Dennis Chinqui and Dave Bell as they go into Carib Cement. Kyle looking nice and neat. Dave running a little bit wide. They told me CP, with all the previous cars that have broken down on the track, it has left a nasty trail of oil. So they're actually a little bit slower this race now with what I keep saying. They were insistent, they were gonna forfeit, but for the fans they decided to come out. So they're going a little bit more cautious for this race because there's oil from the entire backstretch, and unlike cars who can maneuver through the oil,
Right.
on 2 wheels you don't try them things.
No.
Earlier you saw Andre in the grass, you know, checking out the scenery. So they're actually taking their time as they make their way through the backstretch into the chicane. But Xavier executing a pass around Andre Ricketts. Now these are the two Class B riders that we need to keep our eyes on as they make their way through ATL corner number 3. It is Savvy leading for the Shango riders. Andre is content just behind his partner in crime. The battle between Romaldo Longmore and Debo Hamilton continues as they make their way through to the Honda hairpin. But our Class A boys are onto the backstretch. Kyle Reynolds pulling away from Dennis Chinqui. Our Class B champion Dave Bell is holding his own with the Class A boys. He told me just now, and by the way, he did the fastest time he has ever done in the last race. Fastest time, which has qualified him for Class A come next race meet.
Sweet.
He broke the threshold. He is now 1 minute 29 seconds, point forward. Dave Bell's personal best so far. And he told me it's because he finally has somebody to chase. He's so much faster than the other Class B fellas. Yes. He's normally way ahead of the pack and it's lonely up at the top, right?
Right, right.
So this time, he's trying his best to stay behind Kyle and Dennis. And it gives him an opportunity to pick up his speed because now he has something to chase.
Nice.
So I'm expecting another personal best from Dave Bell, the Class B champion, as they make their way through to the Honda hairpin. Here comes Xavi Osborne and Andre Ricketts smoothly making his way past Xavi. Don't forget, boy, I brought you to this track. You can't beat me like that, is what Andre must be saying. But the rivalry is fantastic, and definitely these two are climbing up the ladder.
Oh!
That is Debo Hamilton. He's all right.
Right in Picky's bluff.
Stay right there. We got you. Stay right there, Debo. Don't you move.
Oh,
Don't you move. The bikers will have to. Don't you move, Debo. You stay right there. We got you.
What a
Our
tough
marshals,
break.
they're used to this.
What a tough break for Debo.
He looks okay.
But the Suzuki doesn't look that okay. But he
this
looks
kind of
fine.
stuff happens. It's a little bit slippery. And I do suspect that he panicked a little and touched the brakes a little too hard on this damn track. And by the way, CP, this type of climate is not conducive to good racing on bikes because the bikes require the tires to be of a certain temperature.
Of course.
So when you have this type of climate and the track itself is cool,
Yeah.
the tires don't get
Enough
to
traction,
warm
yeah.
the way they're supposed
Of
to
course.
for the contact to be solid on the ground.
Of course.
So
Debo's looking good, thank gosh. He's got his helmet off and he's kind of chilling on the sidelines. We got a yellow flag on the track. But the ambulance is coming out just to, double check and make sure he's okay.
all right, so what's going to happen is in terms of points and placement, 70% of the race was ran. So what they're going to end up doing when things like this happen, we take the results at the 70% point.
Okay.
So whatever your position was at the 70% point, that is the position that they will award the winnings. So that's what's going to happen with the bikers. I want you guys to give it up.
And while we were encouraging him to stay down, just to stay lying down, the fact that he got up and walked and then sat down again, I take that as a good sign.
Yes, but what I think he was doing was to ensure he gets out the way because you don't want another biker to come plowing into you. But it is mandatory as a biker, when you go down, you're supposed to stay down until medical comes to assist you, because we don't know if you have something loose or slightly broken. And if you get up, and this goes for everybody on the streets, even though you're not supposed to be racing on the streets, but when you have a spill, you stay down. Stay down for as long as possible. Make sure everything works before you get up. So Debo is being attended by our ambulance crew, St. John's Ambulance Service. Excellent, excellent service. Of course, we the bikers have our people here as well, E-Gas Ambulance. I'd like to thank them also for being here. So they're going to clean this up, and I'm sure We're going to have some nice drifting going on. Debo is being treated in a manner that we want all bikers to be treated, so I applaud the St. John's ambulance for that.
Yes.
He's going to go in his collar and on a board until they give him the okay to get up and run up and down.
Okay.
So unfortunate to see Debo Hamilton going down. He was looking so good. I actually told him earlier that his body positioning is looking fantastic. He's pretty new to the track, this being his first year here.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's one of the new riders as well. But these fellas, they're so devoted. They are out here every single weekend almost, practicing, and they take the corrections, and they've been just trying to improve on the skills and what is proper for bike racing here at Dover. So despite this spill, I'm sure Debo Hamilton will be back. His fellow riders are there.
Showing some camaraderie,
Yeah,
waiting
always.
and making sure that he's okay.
We are one family here, a bike family. So one man is down, everybody's concerned. But Dennis Chinqui, that is the Chinese man in a suit right there in a white suit. And a big up Dennis. That was his final race here at Dover. He has been here since 1990 something.
And he's
there
giving
goes a
some-
helmet.
Who's going
A
home with
giveaway.
the helmets?
Thank you so much, Dennis. It has been fantastic with you. We don't know what we're going to do without you. I'm going to call you and nag you every race meet.
He at least needs to come for a showcase.
No, man, I'm going to get him to come
He has
back
to come for
some
a
way,
showcase.
somehow. We got to get Dennis back on the track. He is one of the people that started the racing here at Dover.
So giving away the helmet is the sign that
That's
he
symbolic.
is packing it up.
That's it for Dennis. This is his retirement meet. You know, it's sad to see a biker retire, but, you know, he has done his fair share of entertaining us and showing us that no matter how you go up in age,
Big round
he
of
still got the
applause.
skills, right? Old
Definitely.
broom sweep the corner, then better, is what he said. And clearly, he swept it away with a first place and 2 second places, so he did well. So thank you very much, Dennis Chinqui and Universal Sales, for sponsoring him for all these years.
He's going out on a high, and you always want to do that when you're racing. You want to go out on a nice high, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's on the heels of Debo Hamilton, on his, not so much on his heels,
Right.
but Dennis, of course, I'm sure we'll see him come back here and there. And the good thing about Dennis, he is supporting all the new riders. So he's the one
It's
giving them the
important.
little tricks of the trade and telling them what not to do and stuff. So we really appreciate
Passing the baton.
passing on the baton.
Like it.
So I'm going to turn it back over to the lady CP. NCU is here doing a fantastic job as usual. I hope everybody is supporting the food court. Big up to all our sponsors, Lasco Pace, amongst many. So we're going to turn it over to you, CP. I'm sure some drifting is going to be going on. And we got Thunder Sport coming up.
Of
A lot
course.
more excitement
Great
just
excitement.
ahead of us.
Great excitement. Thank you
And
so much,
there's the
Michelle.
playback on the screen. There's the playback. Let's look at it one more time.
You look a little...
He comes around and okay, we're backing up just a little bit. Here we go. All right, there you go.
We didn't get it.
All right, there
Didn't
you
quite
are.
get
But
it at the time of the accident. We kind of started